I'm one of the many black soldiers that fight during the American Revolution. Approximately 3,000 to 5,000 people of color served the American cause. 7,000 to 10,000 served the British. General Washington, later to become General Washington, would become the leader of one of the most integrated armies all the way up until 1948, when Harry S. Truman will finally reintegrate the army for Korea. And that would take over 150 years to happen. 150 years before a gentleman like this and myself could be in the same unit fighting the same enemy. In Korea. It's just absolutely crazy. Not only that, General Washington also will command of the 3 majority black regiments. One from Massachusetts, one from Rhode Island, and there would be a group that would come in, believe it or not, from Haiti with the French. And they would fight in the Battle of Savannah and the Battle of Charleston. And they will make an important contribution to our struggle for independence. Let me give you 2 for instances. Up in New York, the battle is not going well. We're losing every last engagement with the British. We're getting pushed southward down through New York until finally our back's up against the river at Brooklyn Heights. We are trapped. The next day, the British are going to close in. They're going to annihilate this army. They're going to capture this traitor Washington. That's going to be it. Done. Right there, right then. But under the cover of night and fog, under the very noses of the British warships that would be anchored in the harbor that night, men would row their boats up. They would load the army into the boats. They would take them across the river. Some would make that trip as many as 11 times that night. What you don't know is that many of those men who are rowing those boats are black sailors from Marblehead, Massachusetts. That night, these men would save our revolution and allow us to continue our fight for independence. There's going to be another battle that's going to come down the pike. The Battle of Yorktown. Oh, before I go there, did you know we have spies in the British camp? Did you know that? Did you know we have black spies in the British camp? Ah, yes. One of which is James Armistead, later on to add additional name in honor of the person he's spying for, Lafayette. He would learn information, and the other spies would learn information. The British are going to Yorktown. He would get it smuggled out of the camp. They would make a plan, Lafayette and Washington make a plan to surround the British at Yorktown. But Cornwallis, the leader of the British forces, the man's no fool. He built fortifications around the outskirts of the city. Why? Because he doesn't want us to bring our heavy cannons close enough to bombard the city. We have to take out 2 fortifications before we can get close enough to utilize our heavy cannons. The first part of the attack does not go well. We attack a position. We get thrown back. We attack another position. We get thrown back. Finally, we start digging trenches towards Yorktown. Washington calls one of his best regiments, the Rhode Island Regiment. They're sent in with their guns, unload it, bayonets fixed. They take their objective in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's how good soldiers these men are. The French would take out the other one. We would bring up our heavy cannons, and we would commence with a bombardment of the city, which eventually would lead to the surrender of the British. This is where we win the war. By the end of the war, 10 to 25% of Washington's army would be people of color. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's fine and dandy, Mr. Hector, but I don't see where that really, where that really affects me. Yeah, that's a fair question. First of all, you must realize that General Washington does not win many battles. Let's pretend he fights 10 battles. Out of 10 battles, guess how many he wins? 2, 3, yes. Now, you take away 10 to 25%. Take away a quarter of his army. What do you think the chances of him winning are now? Here's what it means to you. You who are sitting here today, enjoying the freedoms you're enjoying here today, are enjoying them in part because a lot of black people were willing to fight and die so that you might be free. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? You see, I think it's morally wrong when somebody pays the ultimate price with their lives only to be forgotten by those who's enjoying what that fought. That's you. That's me. Make no mistake. I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying. Am I saying, hi, we black people won the American Revolution all by ourselves? Am I saying that? Of course not. Could we win it without the Germans? French? The Irish? The Spanish? Do you hear what I'm saying? It took all of us coming together to win our independence. Now, a man comes down the pike. He gets his arms around his concept. He comes up with a motto for our country. E pluribus unum. It's Latin, but even these young people understand what it means. Pluribus, or plural. What does plural mean? More than one or many. Unum, uno. One. Roughly translated, it means the many that become one. Can you think of a better description of us Americans? Think about it. The Irish, African, the German, the French, Spanish, Scots, Jews, Gentiles, men, women, combining to make one nation, one people, Americans, us. Our power has always been in our diversity. You know what? It always will be in our diversity. It's just a shame. It's just a shame that we don't appreciate each other the way that we really should. You know, in school, you learn some American history and you learn some African American history, right? But do you know there's some people that believe that these two have nothing to do with each other? You tell me, is that so? You're right. No, it's not. African American history is American history. And you know what? I don't care where your people come from. I don't care what your ethnic origins are. I don't care what your social background is. If you are an American, you share in African American history because these people helped you. So, that is what I wanted to share with you. That is what I wanted you to know. I'm hoping that you're having a really good time here. You're enjoying your visit. But if fun is all you're having, fun comes, fun goes. But if you walk away with a greater appreciation of each other, then we've accomplished something. We've accomplished something very great.
Thank you.
So, there it is. That is what I want to share. I'm thankful to General Washington allowing me a little bit of time with you, and for you, the little extra sitting time here to hear my message. Yes, there's a question.
I think one of your future relatives may read the book Change, the series about the black.
I am familiar with Change. Not Ned. I am.
It is a wonderful trilogy about blacks during the Revolutionary War on both sides.
If you go to her website, guess who you're going to find a picture of?
You? Oh, that's awesome.
She writes about Ned Hector on that. And for anybody that would be interested, this is strictly shameless self-promotion, mind you. Of which, being a teamster, I'm not above. I have a card. It's a picture of me as Ned, but on the back, there's information about Ned Hector. I didn't really tell you much about Ned himself. He's quite a remarkable man. In fact, he's kind of responsible for me having a real big change in attitude towards the colonial period. As a black man, you know what my attitude was about the colonial period? My people were all slaves, they all were poor, and if they were in the military, they were nothing but manual labor. So Why would I be interested in that? And if you look around, have you ever noticed at colonial events how few black people there are? A lot of us have that same attitude. A lot of whites have that same attitude. They don't see our place in this process of us becoming an independent nation. So, you can come and you can read a little bit about Ned. At the bottom, I have a website. I have that information you see on those banners. I have a lot of that and a whole lot more. So if you're curious about your history, not those people's history, our history together, feel free to come and get that. And if you would like a card, feel free to come up to me afterwards, and I'll be glad to give you one. Any other questions?
Do you think that those books are accurate to the...
Yes, she does her homework. She researched it well. In fact, I learned about the New York fire from her. That was I didn't know anything about that really until I started reading her book. My daughter read that. My daughter now is a teacher down in Arkansas, but she was really impressed with that when she first went through it. She said, Daddy, you got this. Okay. Of course, I've been dragging my kids along with me, to a point they were starting to say, "Oh, Dad." But now they've gotten older, I think they appreciate kind of what I've been doing. So, yes, she does her homework. Other questions?
So what roughly got you into the program?
Leading teachers. Teachers are dangerous. They are.
And now you have a daughter who's one.
I have 2 daughters that are teachers. I have 4 kids altogether. 2 of them are engineers, 2 of them are teachers. One teaches English down in Huntsville, Alabama. The other one teaches 2nd grade and is a reading specialist down in Arkansas. After my wife passed, I was going into my daughter's 4th grade class, talking about electricity and about biology. My specialty at the time was biomedical electronics. And at the same time, I was doing some genealogy. Let me warn you, genealogy is dangerous. Many of persons have fallen to genealogy. It gets you going, and it got you then. So, genealogy, I traced it back to the 1800 in the northeast corner of North Carolina. I hit a stone wall. I couldn't get back any further. I said to myself, 1800. Well, that's really close to the American Revolution. I wonder if I might have some relatives in the American Revolution. So I started searching for that. I never got back any further than that. I think I stopped I think we are Maharan Indians. That's what I think. But I was sharing with the teacher things I was learning. And as I was researching, I ran across a gentleman named Edward Hector. And I started reading about him, and it was like somebody threw cold water on me. It just woke me up. A black man who's not a slave, who's with the artillery, an elite fighting unit, who considered a hero in the Battle of Brandywine and fought in the Battle of Germantown. And 16 years after he died, they end up naming a street after him in a place called Conshohocken. Wow. And you know how it is when you work a puzzle, you get a piece that drops in, and then other pieces start falling in? That's kind of what happened to me. I started seeing this overall picture of the black contribution in a much different light. Well, the teacher said, "Mr. Lewis, would you like to come in and share this with the students?" Let me tell you something. I didn't look back then the way I look now. My first outfit was light blue hospital scrubs with white socks pulled over the bottom of them, and a woman's blouse with a collar turned inside out, and it was bad. It was really bad. I still get teased about it to this day. Well, I came in like that, and it went over well, and then I got asked to come back again and again. Finally, somebody said, "Mr. Lewis, you got something good here. Why don't you consider taking it out to, more to the public?" And at that time, my business as doing electronic repair was starting to wane. So I said, "Okay, I'll give it a try. I'm enjoying doing this." And that's how I started doing Edward Hector and started telling this message. I want my people to get their proper credit for what they contributed to this country. So that's why I've been doing it. Okay, any other questions? Well, thank you very much for your patience. And I am, and I always will be, your humble and obedient servant. Thank you.
Awesome.